Why do you defend Baker Mayfield so much? Because nobody else will? Maybe because I sank a lot of my pride pre-Baker draft into the fact that I believe he should have been the first player picked overall in that draft, and he was. And I believe I was proven very right when Baker was a raw rookie in Cleveland. And for an 0-16 team, he started, 9, 10 games? He won 7 games for an 0-16 game, a team the year before. Won 7 games as a rookie. My partner across the table jumped on the bandwagon, started saying, "Shake and bake, baby." Loved him some Baker. And then Odell happened. And the more Odell happened, the sicker and more furious and more offended I got. I'll be honest, with Baker, a lot I don't like about him personally. He can be smug, he can be smarmy, he can get full of himself, over arrogant, condescending. I don't like all that. I just believe he can play in this league at a high level. I believe you can win playoff games with Baker Mayfield because he took Cleveland to their first playoff win at Pittsburgh, their first playoff win since 1994. He did that. The Odell predicament drove me crazy because Odell got to Cleveland and didn't want to be in Cleveland. He wanted to be in New York. He's a Big Apple guy or a Hollywood guy, as we saw last year with the Rams. Didn't want to be out there in Cleveland. And he started getting hurt. He had 3 different surgeries while he was in Cleveland. Baker loved him. I think he loved Baker. They just didn't click. Odell was never right. He was basically a shell of himself. And the more Baker tried to force the ball to him, the worse it got in Cleveland. And when finally Odell went down with his biggest surgery, the big ACL rupture at Cincinnati, 2020, here came Baker. There went the Browns. Finished on an 8-3 run, won that playoff game. Baker was outstanding, QBR of 91 in that game. And everybody was back on the bandwagon. But then here we went again, 2021, Odell. Baker gets hurt in the week 2 game as he was leading the whole league in passing percentage of completion. Busts his shoulder, fractures it, tears the labrum, tried to suck it up, gut it out, and play through it. Odell was never quite right. Odell's father posts all the bad throws from Baker to Odell, trying to defend Odell, and Odell has a billion defenders. Odell's LeBron-esque to me. I talk about all the blind witnesses for LeBron. There are a bunch of blind witnesses out there for Odell. Players love Odell. And players, many of them turned on Baker Mayfield. It's Baker's fault. No, it's not Baker's fault. It's both their faults. They're both beat all to hell. They're just not right. The Browns flat out cut Odell Beckham Jr. Think about it, they cut him. It was not Baker's fault. Baker can flat out play. Baker's about to show you how he can play. As I've said before, Baker took a pay cut to choose to go to Carolina because he loved it that they were ranked through the offseason the 32nd and worst team in the NFL. Oh, watch this. Coverage not bare there. He knows. He walked on at Carolina, just as he walked on at Texas Tech, and he walked on at Oklahoma where he won the Heisman Trophy. He walked on to Carolina, and he won the job. And here he goes. And now he's put out these T-shirts. I don't love them. I don't love them because the problem with Baker, the T-shirts say unleashed. He's off the leash. The leash that Stefanski put on him in Cleveland. I don't like that. You don't need to be pointing fingers back at them. You don't need to make this revenge and spite. You just need to go play like I know you can play, like we've all seen you play. People despise Baker Mayfield in large part because of those progressive ads. They were smarmy. They were hard to stomach, and they were relentless. Every other commercial watching the game is Baker's house. Baker's doing this, Baker's doing that, Baker's doing this and that. And finally, thankfully, he's out from under the progressive ads because they don't want a Carolina Panther on the progressive ads. Progressive based in Cleveland, loved them some Baker to a fault. Baker loved the money to a fault. He probably made enough to last a lifetime and painted the target bigger and bigger on his back the more the commercials he did. So I wish he hadn't tried to market these commemorative off-the-leash T-shirts, but that's Baker. The only thing I fear about him is when he's hopeless underdog, he is all-time great. But once he starts to win, his ego starts to inflate, and he just trips over his own ego. He can't get out of his own way. He's better as the hopeless underdog. I don't love the T-shirts, but I do. I'm going to continue to defend this guy. I don't like him, but I love him as a quarterback. I do. I think everybody should love him as a quarterback, and he's about to show you why. I hope you enjoyed that video. You ready for more? Make sure you click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from the Skip Bayless Show. And don't forget to check out the full episode of the show wherever you get your podcasts by clicking the link in the description.